Two.
Yeah. Very top.
Oh, about Rabbi sure.
When did we start that?
Yeah. Bottom ham and base. 15, 20 lines from the bottom. So I'm Rabbi Tanya Yehuda. Then to buy Arab and a Chama. So he's saying some kind of curse, which the Gemara turns into a bracha. I hope to be comforted. In lo harakti eid zomim. That if only they would kill an eid zomim. Why? In order that lahotzi meliban shel tzdukim she'omrim in eid zomim erogin achi hareg hanidon. The tzdukim held that you only become eid zomim only if the guy actually gets killed, but not if there's a gemar din. So he's hoping that someone would get killed before the person gets killed. So in order that to show that tzdukim that they're wrong, yeah. I hope to see also consolation. I didn't spill clean blood. The Edom Zoman only become Edom Zoman until both of them are Huzam, until both of them are Edom Zoman. If one of them is, then there's no Edom Zoman. They both have to be Edom Zoman. The aim low can actually do Mishneim, and we're not going to give the Edom Zoman Malchus until they both become Edom Zoman. Okay. Miyad Kiba Allah Rabbi Ben Tabai. Right away, he heard this from Shimon and Shedach, and he accepted upon himself. She'eno mora hora elef Shimon and Shedach. So I'm going to pass shilas in front of Shimon and Shedach. Okay.
What did you wrong?
Who did then? Who Shimon and Shedach?
What is you could have been to buy wrong?
Well, nothing yet. No. He was Makabel. He was Makabel from Shimon and Shedach. Now it sounds like there was an Eid Zomin that was killed. This happened because it says, "Because Yamal Shavidim and Tabai Hayim Mishtakech Al Kivro Shall Also Eid." You'd go and lie down, so to speak. You'd go by the kever of that witness. Vayhad Kollel Nishma, and that Eid, his voice was heard. Ukisvur Ha'am, and people heard them, and then who it was. Lomar Kollel Shal Harug. They thought it was the voice of the Harug, the one who was killed, that they're hearing from the grave. And he said, no, it's the voice of the Eid. Amar Kollel Shalihu. Sorry, they said it's my voice. Tedu lemachar hu meis ein Kollel nishma. He said, what, tomorrow, who's going to die? Tomorrow?
Maybe he said wrong. I always thought if I see one aid executed, I want to see one.
Yeah, so that's what happened. He wants to see one, and that seems like that happened. So Tedu lemachar hu meis ein Kollel nishma. Tomorrow he's going to die. He's referring to himself, I think. And therefore the voice is not going to be heard anymore. Meaning it's his own voice. He feels bad. He said this klala, and it sounds like it came true. There was an aide who died, one aide Zomim, that they killed, and he feels bad about it.
So they said there has to be two who are killed. You can't kill this one.
We hold that way, right? But they wanted to say to kill one to remove from the tzedukim.
But they never actually did that, did they?
I don't know. It sounds like he went to the grave of this aide. Why was he going to his grave? Sounds like it happened.
Did it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amr le'Ravacha, the Rabbi Rashi Dilma, Bedina Kambahade. So it could be that there was what, some kind of din, or Inami Piuse Paise, or he was going to be Mephiasim. What's he saying? There are two reasons to do what? Of why he was by the kever?
Oh, I don't know why the voice was making. I don't know. I read that doesn't make much sense.
What does it say?
He said they're asking why the voice stopped, not why it started. Could be it stopped because Rabbi Tavai had settled his claim and still in the heavenly court.
Right.
Before the voice stopped.
Or Piuse Paise.
He appeased the witness.
Somehow.
He got Mechila.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
it's a little confusing, but it sounds like there was one witness who ended up dying, and Rabbi Ben Tabai felt very bad about it, and he would be crying and crying and crying. Finally, the voice stopped, either because there's something settled in heaven, or there's some kind of appeasement that took place.
Really, we wouldn't do this, right?
No, we wouldn't do this. Only if you need to show, if you have to show your point, then you could be, then Bezin's allowed to execute punishment, even though it's not technically just, but they can do things to prove a point. Okay. Al pi shnayim edim or shlosha edim yumas hameis. Says the Mishnah, 2 or 3 witnesses you can kill somebody with. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah, imis kamis ha'edis v'shnayim lalam pir lakatzim b'shlosha. The Torah says 2 or 3. So what do you need 3 for? Ella, so a few opinions about this. Ella lahakish shlosha l'shnayim. Ma shlosha mazdimin l'shnayim. Af hashnayim yazumu esh shlosha. Just like 3 witnesses can come and make two other witnesses conspiring witnesses. Af hashnayim, even 2 witnesses can come and could make 3 witnesses conspiring witnesses. And 9.
That means they have to see all 3 of them. All 3 of you were
correct. When we 9 afilu meya, how you know it's even 100? Tamalomer edim. It says edim that even sounds like there's no number, no limit to that, so that it can even be 100. So 2 could be mazim even 100. Yeah, they'll say you 100 were with us. You were at a conference in New York. There's no way you 100 saw the murder in L.A. and therefore they can make them all edim zomim.
That's not just from the previous.
Correct. That was one after another. Yeah. Next opinion, Rabbi Shimon Omer Mashnayim Ein Aragan Achu Shneim Zomin. Both of this we just saw are not going to get killed until they're both found to be edim zomin. Av Shlosha Ein Aragan Achu Shloshim Zomin. You would have thought that witnesses means 2, right? Anything more is extra. It's not considered the ikr testimony. It's an added extra testimony. To that, the Mishnah is saying it's not true. It's until Achu Shloshim Zomin. If you are 3 witnesses, you are now 1 group of witnesses. Until all of you become edim zomin, we're not going to kill any of you until that whole group is found to be zomin. When we 9 have 100 people together that are all witnesses, until they're all found to be zomin, we're not going to kill any of them. Tavalomer edim. How do you know that's even 100? It says edim. Yeah. This part's a little more famous. Rabbi Akiva came up in Sanhedrin a few times. Rabbi Akiva Omer Loba Shlishi Lahakel Ela Lahachmer. Right until now, right the 3rd guy's coming to be Mekel. Like you have 100 people over here, and anybody extra who's not found to be Eid Zomim saves the day. He saves the group. Says Rabbi Akiva, no. Ela Lahachmer Lab Ulasos Dino Kiyotze Be'elo.
He's not mostly. He's Kollel.
Let's see. So the 3rd guy's coming to be Lahachmer, and the din will be the same with all of them. For example, the halakha is that he's going to get the same punishment as they do. 1 second.
They're going to get the same punishment. He's only testifying about one of them, right?
Yeah, don't say. Right. The point is that the way the Rashi explains, the first 2 drushes, according to Rabbi Akiva, are pasuk. They don't need a pasuk for that. You don't need a pasuk that 2 people could be mazim 3, and you don't need a pasuk that tells you that until you have all 3 of them to be edim zomin, that you're gonna then you can't kill anybody. That for Rabbi Akiva is pasuk. What's for Rabbi Akiva though? What's not pasuk that maybe you'll say that since you have 2 witnesses, that's already the basic testimony, and even without the 3rd guy, you weren't needed to kill these 2 witnesses. We didn't need you, so. Still, if the 3rd guy joins together, he gets the same punishment as they do. So we're bringing machmer on the 3rd guy. Don't think that we could just say dal mihacha, take away the 3rd guy, and we would still have good testimony. No, the 3rd guy is also part of the chevra, so he'll get the same punishment as they do.
Oh, it's not that okay. It's not that 1 guy out of a group of 3 is found doing 8 zomim, and then the other 2 that were just happen to get the same testimony also get schlepped in with the.
Correct. Right. That's Pasha Rabbi Akiva. But it's a 3rd guy gets punished also.
Pasha, that's true.
According to Rabbi Akiva, you need all 3 to be edim zomin.
Okay.
Whatever they needed a pasuk for, he agrees with me svara. So everyone agrees in din. No one's arguing halakha. The question is, what do you need the pasuk for?
It's not like Kiddush Hakkodesh. We already got 2 that established that we don't really need you. Here, you came in as a cot, and so you're all going to get the same punishment, even though we could have done it with just 2.
Correct. Exactly. Being Cain, so what happens then? Anush hakasav lenitpal over avera. The Torah is telling you that one who joined the kafel, one who joins together with over avera, gets the din of an over avera. So we didn't need 3 people to do false testimony. 2 would have been enough. but yet you joined together with a bad chevra, so then you get punished like you were the Obrei Aveira. So now says the Mishnah.
What is the mitzvah? What does that mean?
No, like Tafel.
Okay.
Like Iker and Tafel. The Iker are two, and Tafel is the third guy. So you weren't needed, but once you join with the bad chevra, you get punished just like they do. So says the Mishnah uncharacteristically, Advar Musar, Alachas Kama v'Kama Yishalim Skar L'Nitva LaOsei Mitzvah KaOsei Mitzvah. So too, you have a chaver going to do a mitzvah without you; they would have done it anyways. But you chaparayin with them, and we don't say, well, we could have done the mitzvah without you, so you're just extra. No, if you join together with a good chevra, so then you get skar like the Osei Mitzvah.
I haven't heard anybody ask. Shame goes backwards to cover Noah with the blanket.
Yeah.
Yefes joins in the backwards. So Shame was initiating it.
And he still gets cursed.
They don't get the same reward.
Right. Right.
So somehow
the one who starts
what
it.
happened to it?
Yeah, okay, look it up. Okay, fine. So let's see. So Umash Naim Nimsa now. Umash Naim Nimsa Echem Karvu Pasol, Edusan Betela, Hav Shloshin Echem Karvu Pasol, Edusan Betela. So we know that when you have a group of people and one of them is a relative or someone invalid like a Russia or to testify, so then Edusan is Betela. So too, if you have three people, so same thing. We don't say, well, without the third guy, we would have been fine. Therefore, he cannot invalidate us. No. Once you're one group, then any one of that group who's a Karav or apostle is going to invalidate the entire Chevra. Edusam B'Tela. Minayin afilu may have 100 people. You have 100 people, and one of them is found to be a relative. The other 99 are disqualified. Talmud Lomar, Eidim. It says Eidim, even 100.
This is irrelevant. No, to Adam's own. Just general
Not so fast. Dina Nefashos for sure. Dina Mamanos, we'll see right now. By Chasanas, right? By Chasanas, you have two witnesses and you have relatives also. So some are machmir to say that you were two witnesses in exclusion of everybody else. Why do they?
Ask? Are you related?
So some Masada Kedusha will say, you two are the witnesses in exclusion of everybody else. The machmir for Shita is based off these Gemaras. Because they're choshesh that if you don't say an exclusion, so that cousin Joe just invalidated the whole bunch, and you have to do a new wedding, and it's cost a lot of money, and whatever, yeah, etc. Not as exciting the second time. Yeah. Rabbi Yossi, Dvar Mamurim, Bedine Nefashos. You know, married, yeah, Bedine Nefashos. It's exciting. You don't want to be married anyways. So Dvar Mamurim, Bedine Nefashos. So this only is true by Dine Nefashos. Aval Bedine Mamanos. Interesting difference. By Dine Mamanos, if you have a group of people that are testifying, Ruben Oshim and money, and now you come 30 people to Bezdin to all testify. We're all there at the bank when he was there. He owes Shimon money for sure. And now one of those 30 is found to be cover apostle. We do not invalidate the entire bunch according to Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Omer, no Gemara? I have to by my door. Should be an extra Makkos. No, I don't think there is. Check? No. The Kollel has.
Just you took on the table.
What? I took the one already. Yeah, that's the one that I took. Okay, Rabbi Omer, he said no difference. It's whether it's Dine Mamanos or it's Dine Nefashos, that is going to still be considered one group, enough that if you find someone who's invalid or a like a relative or a Russia, it will invalidate the whole group. So Machlokas, Rebbe and Rabbi Yossi, does this apply by Dine Mamanos or not? Yeah. Rashi explains that by Dine Nefashos, we always say the special possible Hitzilu Eida. It's always the verse that's used to try to, as much as we could, exempt people from being killed. So that Vitzilu Eida, according to Rashi, seems to be the source. That by Dine Nefashos, we try to save the day. Obviously, Rabbi doesn't apply it.
But not by Dine Mamanos?
Either Dine Mamanos in this, it's hard to say that's learned out from there because we don't say all these things by Hitzilu Eida by Dine Mamanos. So Rabbi has a different pasuk, or he has a different limud. Yeah. Okay. So the Amasai is going now and becoming this one group of witnesses. The Amasai Bizman Shehisru Behen. Aval Bizman Shelo Hisru Behen. Mayasu Shnei Achin Sherou Be'echad Shaharag Has HaNefesh. So when we say by Dina Nefashos that the whole group is done with a carve or a puzzle, that everything is nullified if one of the guys is a relative or someone who's invalid, so that's only when they were, that's according to Rebbe, the witnesses themselves cannot just watch the case, they have to go and give testimony on the case. Part of the job of witnesses, you have to be the one who gives testimony. So unless you don't give testimony, then you're not going to be considered a witness. Rashi says, and if you didn't give hasra and you didn't have kavanah to be an aid, so then we don't, just because you were there watching, that does not make you an aid. You have to, I don't know if you need both. You have to have kavanah. You have to have kavanah and give hasra. Well, at least you have to have kavanah to be an aid. But just the fact that you ended up, seeing Reuven kill Shimon doesn't automatically make you a witness.
Well, you saw the other guys give hasra, and you were like, "There's a backup."
Right. Exactly. And then the Mishnah says, because happens to be two brothers were going on a Kollel trip, and they went to the wrong place, and they happened to see Reuven kill Shimon. So now they're gonna, because they saw the case, they're gonna nullify the whole thing. Because having two brothers happen to be in the middle of the street, so. There's a fire that we'll put out in a second. So okay, fine. So that is the opinion of Rebbe. Now, Amar Rava, this is very interesting. The whole idea of testifying, it's only v'hu she'idu kulam b'soch kedei dibur. We know there's something that comes up in many places in halacha called b'soch kedei dibur. You have to say the testimony in a certain amount of time to be considered that it's one group of Adam. Right, so we said in the Mishnah that all these cases, let's say in the beginning, you have 2 or 3 witnesses. So then 3, 4, even 100 witnesses could be enough to become Adam Zoman. It says Rav, that's only if they all testified the Tokadei Dibur in this period of time called Tokadei Dibur, within a matter of speech. What does that mean? What's the case of Tokadei Dibur? It's the way that a Talmud here means acts, but it's usually when it says Shalom Aleichem Rebbe or Shalom Aleichem Rebbe Umori, whatever that is, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. That's the time you have of Tokadei Dibur. So says the Gemara, Meya Tuvahavu. How do you have? I mean, you said even 100 witnesses can be all found to be Adam Zoman, but last week checked, it takes more than 2 or 3 seconds for 100 Adam to give over the testimony. So how does that make sense? So meaning, therefore, if they can't do it in the time frame of Tokadei Dibur, then they're not going to be considered one group, and therefore you can't make them all Zoman. So Amar Le, you're right. Yeah.
We're saying we have 2 Adam Zoman. We have 2.
Let's give 100. You have 100 Adam Zoman.
Let's say, even with 2, it's hard. Yeah. You have 2 Adam. Based asking the questions. One says one thing. One says
that you don't need Tokadei Dibur, because that's how they ask each group.
Right. So what do you need?
Once 2 people finished, and the next 2 start, so to make it all one chevra of 100 Adam Zoman, they have to all be giving their testimony, Tokadei Dibur of the next guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Like really going out of our
now, you asked a good question. If the Bezdin says, hold on 1 second, let us think about it. Right? Is that automatically split up?
I just thought Stam the way that basically be asking questions normal.
Well, they take each aid in their own place and investigate him, so you're not going to Tokadei Dibur there either. Amar Le, no. Kol chad v'chad b'Tokadei Dibur shel chaveru. Each one, it's going to be asking, it will be saying their testimony, the Tokadei Dibur within that period of time, within that 3-second time frame of the next group of witnesses. So it sounds like they put up a sign. Anybody who has testimony, come and testify. So one pair comes in. So then, as soon as they finish, the other pair gives their testimony, and the next pair gives their testimony. Now, afterwards, if Bezdin wants to investigate, interrogate each one, that's something else. But that original testimony, they can't be like 2 people come, and then an hour later 2 other people, then an hour later 2 other people. That goes back to the previous Mishnah already.
I thought you're saying it's within the same group. They have to go quickly.
Yeah, because
another group, it's clear.
Well, this is one group. These 100 are one group.
Right. They have to go after the other.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Because Shel Chavero means what?
The next group.
The next group.
Yeah. You two.
Aid with him.
Right, that'd be hard. Rabbi Akiva Omer Lo Bash Lishi, right? And then the end of the Mishnah said that the Eidim have to have kavanah to be Eidim. Just seeing a murder doesn't make you an aid. So says the Gemara mentioned, Amar Le Rav Papa Abaye, Rav Papa tells Abaye, Elamiyata, if this is true, then Harug Yatzil. So then the one who's being killed should always save the day of the murderer. Why? Because he's right there watching the murder, since he's getting murdered, right? And as long as he has kavanah to be, or even if I guess we assume he has kavanah. Sorry. We're going back on Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi, who didn't say like Rabbi Yossi doesn't need, back on Rabbi Yossi for a second. Rabbi Yossi didn't say like Rabbi that you have to have kavanah to be an aid. According to Rabbi Yossi, it sounds like even without the aidim giving hasra. According to Rabbi, the aidim have to give warning to the murderer. According to Rabbi Yossi, he never said that. According to him, you don't have to have kavanah to be an aid. It sounds like just watching the murder is enough to already be considered an aid. So according to Rabbi Yossi, it does not require that the witnesses actually give the warning. As long as you're there, that's fine. Elameata harug yatzil. If that's true, then the guy getting killed should save the murderer from being killed because he's one of the Eidim, and he's puzzled for Eidos. He's puzzled because he's a Karev to himself. He's puzzled because he's no Geya be'Eidos, because he's obviously has a say in this. So according to him, he saw the murder because he's one getting killed. So, and he is invalid to be a witness. So therefore, he should save the day. And then after he gets killed, we should not be able to kill the murderer because he invalidated the whole group of witnesses. It's unbelievable. The Gemara says you're right. The Gemara accepts this, and it says kishahargu me'achora. According to Rabbi Yossi, it's only when he got killed from the back, and he didn't see the actual murderer. But if you were to see it according to Rabbi Yossi, then you're one of the witnesses, because you're just being there automatically makes you one of the witnesses, and therefore you're going to invalidate the whole bunch.
He said he can never convict someone who was killed from the front.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah. You against Rabbi Yossi? I don't know. I don't know if you realize.
Wait, he's not like the person who's being attempted to be killed could act as a witness to that.
According to Rabbi Yossi, it sounds like he's automatically a witness. Not according to Rabbi. Just being there makes you a witness.
But this is all hypothetical because we're talking about when he actually got killed. Or just when
now he gets killed, but he's still one of the witnesses. So he invalidated the other group.
Oh, the other guy.
Yeah.
The other group.
The other two witnesses, let's say. One other witness or two other witnesses. Whatever group witnesses there are there. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Says the Gemara, okay. Nearby someone who gets sodomized should also have the same law should happen to him. He should also save the one doing the one who's doing the sodomizer. Yeah. He says the Gemara says you're right. When he's sodomized on the from the back, and therefore you can't see him. So on that, now the Gemara says, Horeg beroveh yatzil. Hold on. The murderer and the sodomizer should also save the day. They're both there watching what happened. Well, they're acting. They are for sure apostle Eidos. They're a Russia. And yet, they should also be able to save the day. To that, Rabbi Yossi, that the Gemara had no response, because that sounds very funny. That then every murderer will just go and then he'll never be able to get killed. Because he's one of the Eidim up, and then he saved the day. Says the Gemara, Ishtik. I don't know. He didn't know what the answer was. That's where Papa tells Abaye. No, sorry. So Papa asked Abaye these questions. Abaye responded. He asked him this, and Abaye was quiet. He also coming to Rava. When he came in front of Rava, Amarle, no. This will help us. Yakum davar. The Torah says Yakum davar. B'mekaime hadavar hakastam medaber. It's only the pasuk says Yakum davar, and it's only on the mekaime davar, and Rashi says, and not the osei davar. It's only people that are coming to mekayim the din, to come and uphold the justice. But the people involved in the din, they are not going to be able to be witnesses. Only
establishing the fact.
Correct.
In the court.
Correct. So therefore, it's not only are we knocking out, I think, the murderer, But according to this, maybe you're even going back on what we said previously.
Yeah.
The one getting killed, he's not coming to establish the facts. So therefore, we have Xeris Akasov. But it's Xeris Akasov. Without that, we would say that the murderer would actually save the day, which is interesting. Amar Rabbi Yossi b'Bedvar Mamurim. So according to the end of the Mishnah, we said Mayasu Shneachim. So Heichi Amrina Lahu. So how exactly? What do you tell for the person to be a witness? How do you make them into a witness? So Amar Rava Hachi Amrina Lahu. Did you come lemechz yasisu or latsu yasisu? So according to the end of the Mishnah, that according to Rebbe, you have to actually have kavanah, you have to give hasra to be a witness. So now you want to know, well, were you a spectator or were you having kavanah to be a witness? So if they say when we went to go watch the murder, we had in mind to be witnesses, then if one of them is a carver apostle, a relative, or someone who's invalid for testimony, then the whole group is nullified. If they say, no, we just came to watch, we were spectators, so then, what do you want? Two brothers are taking their Chol Moed trip, and they happen to see Reuven kill Shimon, but if they only were spectators, they weren't having kavanah to be witnesses, so therefore, they are not going to be considered witnesses, and therefore, just because they're two brothers, they're not going to validate the other chevra, which did come did go to be a witness, and now it's coming to court. So yeah, Itmar.
Like four people.
Yeah, imagine like four people, like two brothers, and me and you are walking, and you and I see a murder, and we're struggling witnesses. We're like good citizens. Yeah. And next to us are two brothers. So us four go to Bezdin. So they ask us. They said, "Yeah, we can't do witnesses." And they asked the other two brothers. They're like, "No, we're just taking a whole trip." So if they said no, we were also witnesses. Now there's one group of four. Two of them are krovim, so we're all knocked out. But if they come and say that we came just to be a spectator, you and I would still be the witnesses, and they can continue on their whole trip. So Itmar Amar Rabbi Shmuel, Halacha Rabbi Yossi, Rav Nachman Amar Halacha Rabbi. Machlokes Shmuel says Halacha like Rabbi Yossi, and Rav Nachman says Halacha is like Rabbi. The Halacha is like Rabbi, that the witnesses have to give hasra, and you have to have kavanah to be a witness. Yeah.
It's very hard to kill people. Huh? You have to be like a Bucky Bashad, you know.
It's very hard to do. You have to give a straw. His son do it anyways. You have to get all the facts right. Yeah. How you right? But once again, if the guy did that very amazing and he knew it was wrong, even he didn't get hasra, so Hashem will take care of him.
Yeah. But this is all by Dini Nefashos.
Yeah. Dini Mammon is the whole. That's by only according to Rabbi Yossi, not according to Rabbi. According to Rabbi, it applies to both Dini Nefashos and Dini Mammos. Yeah. How you shnayim ro'en oso mechalon zeh. Okay. So two people see from one window. The shnayim ro'en oso mechalon zeh, and two other witnesses see what's happening from another window. The echad maser bo be'emtza, and there's one guy in the middle who's giving them. Sounds like he's the masra. He's giving hasra, I guess, to Reuven, to Shimon. I mean, he's not giving hasra to the witnesses.
Right.
So now, Bismach Miktsas Rowan Elu as Elu. At a time when Miktsas and Rowan Elu as Elu, when the two witnesses in the window can see the other guys, they can see each other. Hare Elu Edus Achas. Then they're considered one group of witnesses. V'im la hare Elu Shte Ediot. If you can't see each other, right? Corona, Portuguese on them. This came up. This concept. Does seeing you make it one group or not? V'im lav, it's considered shei edios, and therefore whatever applies to one group, if you're a carver or putzal, you'll knock everybody out. If it's two groups, then because one group is krovim or psulim, it's not going to knock out the other group.
Very famous. He went to the 60s. The woman in the middle of her apartment courtyard. She was screaming for help. She was being attacked. Everybody saw around in the building. They also someone else and say, she got killed. Nobody stepped in. It's the psychology of. I think
Rashi mentions that.
Somebody else
yeah. Okay. So the figure in nimtza is achas man so menes. So then who vehein nerogin shnia ptura. So if it's two groups of Adims, then just because one group becomes omen, so they'll get killed. Shnia ptura because the shnia is a different group, and they're never found to be Adam Zoman. Rabbi Yossi Omer la'olam ein neragin ad shiyu shnei edav masrin bo. So according to Rabbi Yossi, you can't get killed until the two edim shnei edav masrin bo, the two witnesses have to give the hasra. That
Some 280.
what?
Some 280.
Right, because according to Rabbi Yossi previously in the previous mission, he said that they don't have to. Yeah, meaning you need hasra. Shenamar al pi shnayim edim. It says al pi shnayim edim. Two witnesses have to give hasra. That's one interpretation of the verse. Or davar acher al pi shnayim edim shlo tei Sanhedrin shoma'as mepi hamaturgaman. Haturgaman that the Anim can't hear the testimony through a middleman.
Is he saying you have to have two who won? You have to have that the two who won are the ones who are testifying.
It's hard to say because in the previous mission that was the opinion of Rebbe, not Rabbi Yossi. Sounds like no, you have to have two people have to give us That's what he means.
Both here.
Right, but not that they have to be the witness have to do it, because that's not in line with Rabbi Yossi in the previous mission. I think, yeah. So okay, so you have to have two witnesses, two.
Both witnesses warn.
So if only one of the witnesses there warning the guy and the other one watching with them.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need two to warn them. Happy. It's a funny thing if we hold.
Yeah, the Tanakama says any two. It doesn't have to be the two who are testifying.
Maybe the Gemara will say it ends up being a stereo in Rabbi Yossi's. Okay, yeah, the Gemara is going to ask. Yeah, because this Rabbi Yossi held not that way, right? In the previous Mishnah, he held not like Rabbi. Okay, maybe not. Maybe he held like Rabbi. Yeah, the two witnesses have to give hasra. The two witnesses have to give hasra. And
the Davar Acher is basically saying that the Sanhedrin has to hear directly from the aiding themselves and understand them.
Just interesting.
All the languages.
Right. Yeah, just interesting thing is that the beginning of the mission said that one guy is the master in the middle. So Tosfos asks, like, what's he doing here? What do you need that guy? The second answer, he says, he quotes from a Rishon called Mashiach. This is Venira le Mashiach. That's the name of Rishon. That it's coming that they're arguing. The first opinion holds even one guy can give Asra, according to Yossi, but that's on the second answer. The first
I thought it was Kollel on that.
Yeah, that's
you can't have one in the middle. You have to have two.
That's what Mashiach says.
It seems to be saying like two that are separate or different. It's not either.
Yeah, so you and Mashiach are in tune. Yeah, that's Venir le Mashiach. Yeah, that's an interesting name of a Rishon. Okay. Amar Zitra Bar Tovia Amar Minayin le'edus miyuchedes shehi psula. Edus miyuchedes, unique edus, meaning if one guy's from this window, one guy's from that window, and they don't see each other, how do you know that that's not a good testimony? At the end of the day, they're each coming and saying Reuben killed Shimon. They happen to not see each other at that exact time. They didn't see each other. Why is that invalid? You cannot die on the testimony of one witness. So what is one witness? The simple understanding is you can't be killed based off the testimony of one person. So that's already you know that already. It says you need two witnesses. So what does it say? You can't be killed on the mouth on the testimony of one witness. Ella mai echad. So it means mai echad echad. Echad means echad echad. You can't be killed with one witness over here, one witness over here. They have to both come together as one group of witnesses. You have to be two witnesses to come together. The Brisa says, backs this up and says, "Lo yumas al pi'ed echad." You shouldn't be killed on testimony of one witness. Lahavi shnayim shiro and oso echad michalon zeh mi'echad michalon zeh ve'ein roen zeh zeh she'ein mitzdarfin. That you have to both see each other. If you can't see each other, then you do not combine to be considered one group of witnesses. V'lo ella afilu b'zeh zeh. It's interesting. It sounds like even if you're b'chalon echad, one after another in one window, ein mitzdarfin. You also don't combine together. So, okay. If you have two guys in two separate windows, they saw the whole thing at the same time. They just didn't see each other, and that's invalid. So if one guy goes to the window and sees like part of the murder, and then he leaves, and the other guy comes in from that same window and he sees part of the murder, of course they won't combine. Why would you thought that they should combine? If two people saw the entire murder, they just couldn't see each other, they're invalid. For sure, if you see a partial murder, you cannot combine to make it a full murder. You can't come.
But they saw each other.
I guess running up and down the stairs.
It says, I gotta go to the bathroom a second. You just,
Yeah.
just keep watching.
No, meaning like one guy's watching and the other guy's behind him. Didn't have what's happening yet.
That sounds like
But you have to give us throw anyway, so it doesn't matter, right?
that's a good question how that works. Yeah. Good point. Tosa deals with some of these. I'm not having a chance to know.
One guy approaches the girl with the ring, and then he leaves. And then the other guy comes and says, watch this picture. Like, that's not good.
You been to a wedding like that?
What's the harm in
It's not like you failed. So Amarle lo nitzcha, you're right. Ela leboel es erva. They're coming to testify about someone who had relations with someone that he's not allowed to have relations with, and therefore they didn't see half the Maisa. Boel es erva. You're seeing the person having a relationship with someone he's not supposed to. So it was Bezachar Zad. They both went and they saw Be'ilas erva. Still they cannot combine for testimony together.
And we're coming into saying that meaning because it sounds hard to say that someone saw half a Maisa.
Correct.
In that case, of both.
That's how the whole Maisa.
Would that be enough to force the husband not to tell the husband can't live with her, or you can kill them?
Good question. I don't know. Okay. Amarava im hayu rowan es hamasra. If the two witnesses saw the masra, the one giving a warning, oh hamasra rowan o son mitzdarfen, or the masra sees them. They have two witnesses in one window and two witnesses in another window. They don't see each other, but they both see the middleman, or the middleman sees both of them. They could still combine to be one group of witnesses. Now you're going to ask, one guy giving 8, one guy, yes. Right. So I was, I heard one answer is that you have two other witnesses that are. I have to get back to you. I remember.
When we say two have to give warning, does that mean they both have to do the talking? Or is two standing together and one is doing the talking?
No, I think they both. I didn't.
Then what's the chiddush saying? They both have to do the one.
They both
have to be standing next to each other and one talking. We said if they're not standing together, they're not even considered like they were both there at the same time.
Yeah, good question. Exactly. Where's the house from two people? They asked that question. I don't remember the answer. Yeah, I have to get back to. So okay. V'amarava masra sha'amru afilu mipi atzmo va'afilu mipi hashade. So masra, this masra, it could even be the guy himself. Also a funny case, but he says, sounds like he says the masra could be amru afilu mipi atzmo, the one who's haharug atzmo hisrabo. Sounds like the killer himself. So it sounds like he gives himself warning.
It doesn't matter. If you do this, you're going to be chayav.
No, but he's saying it to himself.
Yeah.
The one who's getting killed.
No, the one killer.
The murderer.
Yeah, what does it say? Right? He says,
I know I shouldn't do this, and we're going to get killed if I do it anyways, but.
Yeah, I would say.
The one giving the warning may even be the victim.
Right.
Oh, the victim. He's saying, don't do this. You know,
right.
You're killed for doing this. He's
right.
trying to pay for his life or something.
So, yeah, sorry, Harug, the one being killed. Okay, right. He can give warning. Yeah. Right. Obviously,
someone's got to tell the court he said it.
Right.
That's the problem.
Otherwise, we're not going to know.
Right. So there you have to say that there must be two witnesses that heard the warning.
Well, no, there's a warner and there's the victim. They both tell it. And the warner comes to court and he says,
have to give warning. Maybe both can hear the warning.
Let's say that there's two people watching from the window, right? There's the guy in the courtyard in the murder scene or whatever, and he's pleading for his life, and they're watching him plead for his life and saying, you know, if you kill me, you're gonna get punished and get killed also, and they're watching that happen. That would be good enough.
There's a warner.
So he works as the warner, and they're watching it happen.
I don't know. We have to look it up. To actually give warning to witnesses, you have to have both witnesses speaking to give the warning, or as long as they're listening to the warning being given. I don't know.
If the state doesn't, you have to bring the state into court to tell us.
Right. Right. There's a tshuva a few hundred years ago. I think it was another Yehuda. There's a tshuva from Rabbi Yehuda that a lady had relations with the shade, and she wanted to know she asked it to her husband.
I'm curious.
What? Okay, let's look it up for you. Because there was a Rashbam and Baba Basra that they used as a riot against them.
Why you said she imagined the whole thing?
I didn't think.
No, because shade's a real thing. The Ramchal says the shade's a half human, half an angel. It's a real thing. You could have children. The shade had children. It's Rashbam and Baba Basra. One of the kings in Persia she married a shade and had a child.
How'd they come up to the Torah?
What?
How did they come up to the Torah?
Well, how did they get called
The
up?
child of the shade.
But I don't know. Yeah. So
I didn't think that we could see them. I thought they were like invisible creatures. No.
the Ramchal says, yeah, she had relations with the shade, and there was a shaila. She asked it to her husband or not? It was a tshuva 300 years ago. 200 years ago. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Could be the guy sitting next to you is a shade, you don't know. So yeah, Amar of Nachman. Yeah, Amar of Nachman. Yeah. What you see is not always what it is, right? Amar of Nachman. Eidus miyuchedes k'sheira. Nachman says no. Eidus miyuchedes is k'sheira b'dinei mamonos. This idea of one witness here, one witness there, can not combine is only by dinei nefashos. By dinei mamonos they could combine. How do I know that? Lo yumas al pi echad b'dinei nefashos who de'ein b'dinei nefashos who de'ein k'sheira. By dinei mamonos k'sheira. It's only by dinei nefashos that it's not considered k'sheira. But by dinei mamonos, then that would be okay. So you saw Reuben Oshima money, and he saw Reuben Oshima money from different parts at different times. They can still come together.
I'm sorry. This whole shade thing was like you have to be a kosher witness.
So Maskiller of Zutra, Elamata Bedina Nefashos Tatzil. It says Elamata. This part I'm honest to understand this. Elamata, according to this, Bedina Nefashos Tatzil. If this is true, that since you just told me that by Dinei Mamonos that these people can combine to be witnesses, so then by Dinei Nefashos they should end up saving the whole group because they should be kosher witnesses. And yet we say Allah Matnan Hu V'Hei Nerogin. Kasha, I know I'm not to understand this.
Because we have a special principle. They don't bring it here, but it's like Ada. But in the capital.
So because you're kosher to be an aid witness in Dinei Mamonos, that should save you in Dinei Nefashos?
No, I don't know about for in Nefashos we have special trinity.
Right, but
Let me ask the Dinei Nefashos.
Tatzil, why should you be Tatzil?
Well, they don't bring it, but I think we have a principle. You have to have a higher level of testimony or evidence, whatever.
I guess we're saying that according to Rav Nachman, if this is true by Eidos, we should use this also by Dinei Nefashos. I guess like you're saying, Rashi says they tilo Eidah. We should use this principle by Dinei Nefashos also, and but the problem is that we brought a pasuk that Eidos miyuchedes is psula, and that was by Dinei Nefashos, special pasuk. We had lo yamus al pi echad. So we had a special verse telling, unless he argues on it, the verse told us.
Maybe what it's saying is by Nefashos is a different way of understanding that pasuk. That it's okay that one hears a miyuchad, one hears.
I guess so.
And for Mamonos, we're letting them.
I guess so. That's what Eidus miyuchedes means. Is that
it's unique. It's one guy witness and one guy that witness. Why it's Eidus miyuchedes? Unique with it. Eidus miyuchad. No, I mean your own individual. Yeah, not unique, but your own individual.
So, so they each stand alone, that's really okay.
Correct.
Not for a couple.
Yeah, Rabbi Yossi in the Mishnah said that they have to actually give the warning. Amrli Rav Papa Abaye, Rav Papa asked the Abaye, Misla Rabbi Yossi, hi, Svara, and the witnesses have to go and give the Hasra. Two of them, Bahatanan, Rabbi Yossi, Omer Hasoni Nara. The Soni Nara Mipishu Kimuad. So, Mipishu Kimuad Umusra. We know that a Sone is someone who's puzzled for Eidos. And if he kills and says, no, I did a b'shogeg, that's not enough. That doesn't count. If you hate the guy, however you qualify to be the hater of the guy, if the hater goes and kills the person, he can't claim, oh, I did a b'shogeg, because he's like a muad, like someone who's wild, like a muad who does it on purpose. Musa, he's already warned. So we're going to kill the hater because he's already he's warned. But we just said that you need warning from two witnesses. I'm like, you're right. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, he the tiny Rabbi Yehuda, Omer Chavar and Tzarach Hasra, the Pishon this Hasra, El Lahakim and Shogud Mezid. Rabbi Yehuda says that a Talmud Chacham doesn't need Hasra, doesn't need a warning, because the whole warning is to make sure that you know the difference between Shogeg and Mezid. You can always say, "Oh, I thought that wasn't a problem so much." So you have to give him Hasra. But this other Rabbi Yossi who says that a Son is Nerag, so he's going to argue. It's a different Rabbi Yossi by Rabbi Yehuda. And he's going to say that you do not need Hasra. Our Rabbi Yossi is Rabbi Yossi by Yehuda.
One is Rabbi Yossi, one is Rabbi Yossi by Yehuda.